Okay, this is a brainstorming session for a new compelling model for something for personal development, right? Personal development is taken way too seriously, to the point where it leads you astray. And when you think you're doing something that's right, you actually are doing the wrong things. And if you really want to change how you want to be, how you walk, how you talk, how you just have to train. But sometimes you have to literally do this alone. You have to work on your voice, work on different ways of talking, talk deeper, talk higher. You have to work out. You have to put your efforts into pumping up that muscle, doing 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups. You have to run that mile. You have to run that 2 miles. If you're just alone in your house, doing nothing but drinking, smoking, and crying because you feel like all that stuff didn't work for you, and you're just limiting yourself, then there has to be a recontextualization of how you literally view personal development. You have to view things differently. Instead of always trying to get better, instead of always trying to move down that line, move up, move down, all across, all over this places, all over these tangential lines, this sine waves, cosines, values, fractals, instead of actually thinking like you always have, like a computer, start actually using that computation to gather data for how you can do it differently. One line of personal development where you travel through can be different than another line. Parallel lines. One line works for a different purpose. Or you can learn modularly through a circular pattern, always going back to where you were. Or you can learn through how music works, spirals. There's so many ways to learn, and then in your mind, you always think like it's the same. Like, why does the mind always compel to think exactly the same as it always has? Because we were programmed to see everything exactly the same all the time. But absolutely everything is constantly changing. So the novelty, no doubt, continues over and over again. Everything is constantly changing, like graphics in a computer and a video game. But instead, life is not a video game. It's totally the absence of a game. It's real. And if we don't pay attention to what we're doing, to ourselves, to our environment, to the world, we're just going to lead ourselves on this path of a self-inflicting paradox that has its own truth variables. So the thing that you hated becomes a thing that you use later on. See that? How annoying that is? If you really knew that in the past, would it be problematic? You probably would make mistakes. And you would probably think to yourself, damn, that is the inherent logic I should be using. if that is what I should have been using earlier, then the mental state of how I was viewing things before is the mental state I should be using now. That means the things that were working before are starting to work now. So sometimes the things that didn't work back then are starting to work now, and it creates this self-fulfilling prophecy of, guess what? You were right all along in a way, but also wrong in other ways. So, corrupt, right?